What is up, everybody? It's your boy Noah, back at it. New video, new me. It's not new me, same me. It's been a while. I'm glad to be back. I'm not gonna say I'm gonna be back full time. I'm gonna try to be consistent about dropping stuff, and I wanted to get deeper into stuff that I'm passionate about. That's not just playing video games, and that's where this video is about. This video is about the new movie, Tron Ares. Now, I'm a Tron fan. If you don't know, Tron Ares, newest entry in the Tron franchise from Disney. This is, gosh, man, this is a movie that's been 15 plus years in the making. You know, Tron Legacy came out 2010, 2011. I was 14 or 15, loved it when it came out. Changed my fucking brain chemistry. Seeing cool ass motorcycles with neon lights and Daft Punk and all this crazy visuals. It was so sick. The story was fine, just like the original Tron. When I saw the original Tron as a small child, I was like, this is a cool, just looking movie. I like the idea of like a world in the computer, but the story's whatever. If anything, I walked out of Tron Legacy excited for a new Tron movie, and it took 15 years, and now here we are with Tron Ares. Now, Tron Ares, I have some clips here. Excuse me, so you don't have to watch just me. Tron Ares stars Jared Leto. It stars Evan Peters, Gillian Anderson, Jeff Bridges, and the basic setup of this story is Jared Leto, his character. I guess we shouldn't even start with Jared Leto, because there's all this thing with Tron and programs and stuff. Evan Peters and Gillian Anderson run the bad company, and the bad company, I'm just going to give you the basic terms. The bad company has this program in their grid named Ares, who is this unbeatable warrior machine killer type shit. And Evan Peters wants to sell Ares to the government as a expendable soldier that they can reprint over and over again. But eventually, Ares discovers that there might be more to the story than just him wanting to sell him off as a program. This movie acts as a pseudo sequel to Legacy. In all reality, it's kind of just taking a hard kind of reboot stance, telling you a whole new story that they planned to expand on in a movie or two. Now this one had a rough one. As a Tron fan, when it was announced, hey, we're doing a new Tron movie, I was so excited. I was like, man, they just had the ride open up at Disney. They had merch, whole merch run for the Disney ride. I was like, man, maybe Disney's finally ready to really give Tron a chance and do something super cool with it. And they were like, yeah, new movie, guys. Jared Leto's in it. And I was like, okay, all right, well, and you kind of just have you hit the brakes a little bit. You're like, now like the guy who directed one of the bad Pirates movies is directing it. And you're like, okay, you're losing me a lot. I'm really slamming these brakes now. It's not really connected to Legacy, by the way. And now you're really you're pulling the e-brake at this point. And then they come out and they say, hey, but the soundtrack's done by Nine Inch Nails. And you say, well, hold on. I said, well, Trent Reznor, Nine Inch Nails? I just dropped the e-brake, foot off the brake, just full gas, excitement, hype, trains back on, folks. We're getting a banger of a movie. And I sat down in IMAX, the way it was meant to be seen. I had taken a few special gummies to enhance the experience. I sat right in the middle, and I saw it a few days after it came out, so I knew that it wasn't reviewing the best critically. I knew the fans really enjoyed it, which is kind of a common trend among the Tron movies. And I gotta tell you, this movie, I don't understand why this movie is the internet's punching bag. For the first time in quite a while, leaving a big budget Disney movie like this, I walked out of the theater, and the first thing I said to my fiance about Tron Ares was, I would so watch another one of those. If they made a sequel, I would totally buy a ticket. I would be there day one. that was a ton of fun. I think this movie, it suffers a lot from the preconceived notions you have of it based on who's involved and based on the history of the franchise. A lot of people look at the Tron movies and they're like, cheesy sci-fi. And then you have this director and actor who aren't necessarily, hitting home runs all the time. But here, the positives I'll say, I actually think Jared Leto is really good in this movie. I think he plays a strong character of Ares. I do care about Ares at the end of this movie. But he feels almost like not the main focus of this story. Um, God, I don't know the actress's name. I should just look it up for you right here. But the main actress in the movie, Greta Lee, she plays Eve Kim. She's fantastic. I think her character is one that I would want to follow in future movies, and it almost feels like she should be the star of this one. I'm not saying that the decision to focus just on Ares may have hurt this movie in the long run. I found this movie though to be very fast paced. I thought it never really drags. You're always kind of moving to the next thing. If anything, it doesn't spend enough time on certain aspects. But I think that's kind of to the benefit of it being such a big blockbuster. It's weird this movie is coming out now. It feels like it should have came out in like July or something, because it really fits a summer night vibe. I think Greta Lee's great. I think Jared Leto's great. Evan Peters is having a hell of a time in this movie. Gillian Anderson doesn't have a ton to do, but for when she is there, she's Gillian Anderson, which is, needless to say, she's great. Evan Peters is just having a great time here as the villain. And this is a movie that I think what it lacks in maybe storytelling as far as clarifying or giving more details and more information, I think it makes up for that in just sheer like, oh, this is really cool. The visuals are so well done, and I know that's not an impressive thing nowadays, but for something like this, I was really taken off at first by the idea of like light cycles and recognizers in like the real world. I feel like we're just watching the same footage, but whatever. Eventually, I think as I watched the movie, as I started to get deeper and deeper into the movie, that started to really become less and less of a problem. I thought it started to look really cool towards the end. This visually, the light runs and the lines and all this crazy stuff in the real world. I thought it looked like visually so cool, and the music. I mean, dude, to think people were actually worried about the music when they announced Nine Inch Nails was doing it, because Daft Punk's retired. They're over it. They're out of the game, and to think people were like iffy, like, oh, I don't know, is this movie gonna the music gonna be as good as Daft Punk? Da da da. In my opinion, this music works way better than Daft Punk's score. I think Daft Punk went and made a proper like score for a Tron movie. Nine Inch Nails did their own thing, and it's awesome. I think the music is a character in something like this, and there's straight up scenes where you have two characters trying to convey information to each other, and you can't even hear them talk because whoever mixed the movie is just like, just bump that Trent Reznor, just turn that all the way up because I'm not trying to hear anything these guys are talking about. Like, that's kind of cool in my opinion. I don't know. I could see someone seeing this movie and saying mediocre to like decent, not even expecting a good, but I was seeing some of the reviews call this thing like, hopeless and broken and no redeeming qualities and one of the worst big budget blockbusters of the decade. I think you're smoking crack. I think you're huffing paint. This movie's a ton of fun. Does it maybe not make a ton of sense in some areas? Sure, but it's computer people riding around on light bikes in the city. And I understand that's not an offense. I understand that's not a oh, you know, that's not a proper, come back to the critique. I think it's just a fun movie. I think this is the kind of movie that if you go in expecting to be entertained for 2 hours, you'll have a fantastic time. Um, and I really wanted to make this video because the rumor coming out of this now is that because this movie didn't do so well, we're not getting another Tron movie. They're hanging it up. They're done. And I think that's a real shame. And I think a lot of it probably has to do with the way that people feel about Jared Leto, especially after something like Morbius. But he, and again, as I was saying earlier, it is a fault because the movie's named after him. He plays such a small focus in this movie to everything else that's going on that you could have traded him out for anybody. And that's the other thing people are saying is, oh, you could have put, a bigger name in that role. You could have put Ryan Gosling or this person or whoever as the lead. I don't even think the movie works. I don't even think the movie makes money if that's the case. I think Tron is just a franchise that it almost can't shake the reputation it has of this super nerdy thing from the 80s. And while that's, I think it speaks to the legacy of that first film, no pun intended, I do think it makes it a tough project to sell on such a massive level. I mean, this is like a $250 million movie. If you are a producer, if you're someone who put money, if you're one of the people at Disney who was like, yeah, dude, give them $250 million, you are smoking crack. What on earth are you and if you were expecting to get paid, what I think it's just a case of just a huge budget. I think it's a case of, and maybe Disney knew that. Maybe Disney's like, yo, if we just give them a crazy budget and when it doesn't make the money back, we can just dump Tron and never have to think about it again. Sure. But I can't help but feel defensive of Tron Ares. I keep wanting to tell people when I hear people talk shit about it, oh, just get behind me. Tron Ares, get behind me. And I don't know, chat. I don't know. I just wanted to make this video because I really like this movie. I think it's super entertaining. I think it's super entertaining. It's super well done visually, and with the audio mixing and the music is fantastic. I think the characters are really fun, and I think it's just a good time at the movie theater. And to me, maybe I'm just easy to please when it comes to movies. I watch a lot of movies. And very rarely do I walk away from a movie going, that was really bad. The last bad movie I remember watching was The Strangers Chapter 2. That movie sucked. The first one was worse. The first one was bad. The second one was even worse. But most of the time, if I'm walking out of a movie theater, man, I'm not hard to please, and I'm having a good time. And Tron Ares was a great time. That was just a fun movie. And I think at the end of the day, if that's what you're looking for, if you're, maybe a little hesitant to go see a scary movie this October and you want to see something visually crazy, go check out Tron Ares. It's so worth it. It's such a good time. And yeah, I didn't really have the issues that a lot of people had with this movie. I can see the argument of, Jared Leto's character maybe not being the most, you can't even say convincing, because he plays like a robot, and he's a robot, so it works. Maybe he's not the strongest lead. I agree. His character could have been a little more fleshed out as far as support for the why are we supporting him as an audience member. But I really enjoyed the movie, and yeah, this might be a pointless video, but I just wanted to come out and say you guys should go see Tron Ares. And I'm not really a review score guy. I think review scores are bad, so I'm just gonna give you a Tron Ares gets a thumbs up. Now, I don't do two thumbs up. It's either thumbs up or thumbs down. And so Tron Ares, boom. Strangers Chapter 1 and 2, boom. Bad. That's your examples. But Tron Ares is a great movie, and I can't recommend it enough if you're looking for something good to watch at the theater. And that's going to do it. That's it. I just wanted to get on this camera. I wanted to shake the cobwebs loose, get comfortable again. I just shook my whole desk. And yeah, I'll be back here very, very soon. I want to check out some of the Tron video games. I have a bunch of them downloaded. I think that could be a fun little stream to jump through all of them or something. And I also want to talk more about movies. So we'll talk about like my favorite movies of the year coming up in a few weeks and stuff like that. But yeah, I want to thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this video, drop a like, subscribe, whole 9 yards. You know the deal. And yeah, I'll see you guys later. Peace!